Welcome. My name is Daryl Bowler, and I'm a solutions architect for Serena Software. Today, I'm going to present to you continuous delivery and Serena deployment automation. So the agenda for this video is that first, I'm going to give you an overview of what continuous delivery is and how it will benefit you. And then I'm going to give you an overview of Serena deployment automation tool. And then I'm going to show you how to configure Serena deployment automation so you can actually practice continuous delivery. Continuous delivery is an agile practice that is used in conjunction with continuous integration and an agile project management method such as Scrum. Effective continuous delivery allows practitioners to deliver innovation faster. When used with agile, it focuses on delivering these features and stories that the business values the highest. This can be achieved by releasing smaller increments of work more often that flows through the stages of the deployment pipeline on its way to production. Continuous delivery is designed to ensure that quality software is the end result. At each stage in the pipeline, different levels of tests are performed. Initially, these will be unit tests in the commit stage, then functional testing, UI testing, and performance testing at the latter stages. The key point that this quality safety net ensures that only the highest quality product reaches production. Continuous delivery is a great example of the lean process that focuses on eliminating inefficiencies and waste. In CD, there is a strong focus on automation and repeatability, and if there are wasteful and manual processes, these will be highlighted as you implement continuous delivery. So how can Serena Deployment Automation aid continuous delivery? Serena Deployment Automation is designed to integrate and automate all 4 stages of the pipeline. With SDA, you can intuitively model a deployment workflow that includes a continuous integration server such as Jenkins. On a successful build, we can archive deployment artifacts to the SDA artifact repository and then trigger a deployment process to install the artifact on an application environment. All of this is entirely automated with SDA, from commit to delivery. Tools such as Puppet or Chef can assist in the process by managing the system configuration of the environment on the pathway to production. These tools complement SDA. SDA is specifically designed to automate the application deployment process, whereas Puppet and Chef are designed for system configuration management. The first step is to install the Serena Deployment Automation plugin for Jenkins. Go to Manage Jenkins, then go to your Manage Plugins, and next choose the Available tab, and you can then filter for Serena, select Serena Deploy plugin, and then simply install the plugin and restart Jenkins. Step 2, I'm going to show you how to configure Jenkins and a build project to use the Serena Deployment Automation plugin. First, let's configure Jenkins. Manage Jenkins, configure system. Scroll to the section labeled Serena RA Server. Here we define the profile name, the URL to the deployment automation server, an ID and password that have access to the automation server. Save this configuration. Next step, let's configure a build job. Here I have an example build job, sample Java. Go into configuration. Scroll to the section Add Post-Build Action. And here you can publish an artifact to Serena Deployment Automation. I've already defined these settings. First, set the profile, which we just configured. Then, very importantly, specify a component name that matches a component in Serena Deployment Automation. And I will cover this step later. Specify where the artifacts are kept, the base artifact directory. Here it's relative to my workspace. For the version, I specify the build number. I specify the files that I want to publish, gameoflife.war. In this particular case, I want to deploy these artifacts once they are published to Serena Deployment Automation. So I have this checked. So I will deploy to the transaction Java Tomcat application. I will deploy this to the development environment, and I will trigger a process, the install transaction engine Tomcat application. In step 3, I'm going to show you how to configure the component in Serena Deployment Automation. The result will be that every time there is a successful build and a successful build artifact, it will be published into Serena Deployment Automation. First, let's trigger a build. Note this is build 90. Now we go to Serena Deployment Automation, go to components, and the component that we've defined was transaction engine war. Go to edit and make sure that the source config type is set to Jenkins. We can select import versions automatically and specify polling period. Next, we can define a process. I have a process here, transaction engine install process on Tomcat, and this defines the component process workflow to install the WAR file on Jenkins. And as you can see, I clean up temporary storage, download artifacts, rename the WAR file, check Tomcat is alive, makes a decision either to stop the application or start Tomcat, undeploy the application, deploy the application, start application, then do a final cleanup, then finish. Now, if we go back to our component, go into versions, we now see that version 90 has been successfully published to the artifact repository. Now that we have everything configured, what we should be able to do is make a change to an application that would then trigger off a continuous integration build. If the build is successful, it would then publish the artifacts to Serena Deployment Automation. And in turn, Serena Deployment Automation will then deploy those artifacts to a development server. So here I have a web application. I'm going to make a source code change. It's running in Tomcat. I'm going to change the title from Splendid to Awesome. I'm going to commit those changes. Now that should trigger off the build server. So we take a look at the application. What we're going to see is that this title will change once Serena Deployment Automation deploys the application to our development environment. Take a look at our build server. As you can see, build 98 has started. Okay, looks like our build is successful. So what that means is that we should have a new artifact in our versions. So as you can see, version 98 is available. And so that should have triggered off a deployment. Take a look at our development environment. You can see something is happening here. Let's view the request. See, the request is actually for the install transaction engine Tomcat application. Take a look at the details, and as you can see, the deployment is almost successful at the very last step. Now, if all is well, let's refresh this. You can see that we have our new application. So to summarize today, I've shown you how to do continuous delivery using a simple Java web application using Serena Deployment Automation in conjunction with Jenkins. If you want to learn more, or even to download a free copy of Serena Deployment Automation for up to 5 nodes, go to www.serena.com/SDA. I hope you found this presentation useful, and thank you for listening.